Hey everybody, Jeff Esposito here from jeffesposito.com. Just wrapping up some lunch that I ate in my car on Saturday afternoon outside of Cassidy Park in Brighton, Massachusetts. Um, you know, I don't want to talk about me having the lunch today, but I kind of came to almost an epiphany and possibly a social good idea that it could be done by companies across America, restaurants both big and small. I drove down here today to get a free lunch from Boloco. I had won a gift card a while ago from Jeff Cutler online. With some kind of silly question through Twitter. So, granted, I'm grateful for the card and I love Boloco's food, but I didn't wind up eating there today. On the way down, on the way to walk to Boloco, I saw a homeless guy walking up and down the street with a sign that said, homeless, can't afford food, and some other things that were kind of illegible on the sign. But the point in the case is the guy's hungry and he's out pandering for cars. Nobody is giving the guy money, so I figure sitting there in the pocket, he needs this gift card more than I do. And I just won this card, so it wasn't something. It's something that just he needs the food. I have the money to go pay for something, so I bought something different. That's not the case in point, but what I got to thinking is why don't companies in general, like, why can't we start something to where gift cards, instead of just giving them arbitrarily, maybe we have some that give them out to some of the homeless people around the area that are poor or underprivileged, or even some of the folks now that are in disaster areas. Similar to what New Orleans was a few years ago, to where you could just take some of those cards and give them to the people. They can get a hot meal and stay warm. Especially today in Boston it's probably about 35 degrees, which I think is warm today, but it's still pretty damn cold if you're sitting out there and you're pandering for food and things like that. So hopefully this guy that I gave the card to could use that to get a warm meal and sit inside and warm his ass up a little bit, because it's cold outside. Maybe that's one of the things that we could do as a society, maybe even companies. It doesn't cost them much to hand out gift cards. I'm sure they have street teams or charity teams. You could assemble people. There's a bunch of organizations that would hand those cards out, and they're just as good as cash. One of the problems I've always had with giving cash to the folks that are on the side of the road or pandering things is that they're out there. We don't know what they're going to use the money for. Some might use it to buy drugs, some might use it to buy food, some might use it to buy booze. When I lived in the New York area, I used to go buy 40s and give it to the guys because that's what they wanted the money for anyway. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I think we could do is, if we have these gift cards, companies, individuals alike, if you're not going to use them, give them to one of these folks that's out there looking for it. Granted, it's not money per se, but it's something to where they can get a warm meal and just have a better day overall and things. So I'm not sure if this makes sense at all, but it's kind of something that I was just thinking about, sitting here and having that kind of bright idea moment that popped off in my head. So again, it's Jeff Esposito here from jeffesposito.com, signing off and saying have a great weekend and consider the gift card idea. Have a good